I know it's been a long time since I've made a video, but the recent video from MrBit10 asking about the magic of Mac has inspired me to make another video, and I wanted to respond to his questions about what makes the magic of Mac. Now, you can probably guess from my shirt here that I am a Mac user. I hope that this is taken with the humor that is intended and not meant to be any sort of theological statement. In any event, I wanted to respond to the magic of Mac question from 2 points of view. One of them being from my point of view as somebody who works on helping people set up computers and use their computers in their homes and businesses. And I want to contrast the typical experience of setting up a new Mac versus setting up a new Windows computer. And again, this is just a general experience, and I think that's sort of where I'm going with this, is that it isn't so much about the hardware or the software, but the experience. Typically when you set up a Windows computer, I'm thinking of one in particular this year that I did, the person had never used a computer before, and so, believe it or not, and so this was a new experience for her. And what's particularly alarming when you set up a new Windows computer, even if you know what you're doing sometimes, is you turn it on and you typically get some sort of Windows welcome registration thing, and then you either fill that out or you don't, and then you turn to Windows coming up, and frequently what happens is a whole bunch of things come up on the screen. What you get is register your computer through Dell or HP or whomever. You get Java update available. You get HP or Dell update available. You get Windows, Microsoft update available. Oh, Norton, activate, register, update. Whoa. So you just have turned on your computer and suddenly you are barraged, especially as a new user. They don't know what any of this is. What is Java? Do I need to register with HP? Why should I do that? What is being updated? I just got my computer. And you spend the first amount of time basically just explaining what's going on their brand new computer, and spend the next half hour getting all of these things up to date. And then you can get into using it. So just that initial turning on the computer can be disconcerting, confusing, and overwhelming for a user. Now, I just recently helped my mom pick out a MacBook, and the experience turning it on for the first time was quite different. You turn it on, you get the gray Apple logo screen, you get the welcome video, and then it leads you through what is your name. You get to take the picture. It asks for your wireless setup, showing you automatically, here are the wireless networks we detected, which most people would not have their SSID hidden, so you would be able to see that right away. Then it asks for your registration, which is all just right there, and you only have to do that once. You don't have to do it once for the computer manufacturer and then once for Microsoft. And then there probably were a couple of other minor things. Oh, it asks, do you want to transfer things from your old computer, which is a great question, but there's, no, I don't have a previous computer to transfer from, which is fine. Do you want to sign up for MobileMe? This is a little bit of a sore point with me, that they're sort of throwing that in your face before you've even gotten your computer on for the first time, but that's a minor issue. And then you're on the desktop, and there's no icons on the desktop other than the hard drive. You've got the programs down there, programs that you can use and need right out of the box: the web browser, iChat, Photo Booth, iPhoto. You plug in your camera, you're going right away. So I just think in terms of the experience from a new user point of view, it's a better experience. It's a cleaner experience. It's less confusing and overwhelming. And when that update window does pop up for the first time, there's one update window, you get all your updates, and I do like that with the Apple update you get your OS updates, your firmware updates, your graphic driver updates, your Java updates. It all comes in over that one screen, and for most people who you work with in their home, they may not install anything else on their Mac, so they only ever have one update, or you don't have to explain them, well, no, the Dell updates are okay, and the Norton updates are okay, and the Windows updates are okay, and the Java updates are okay. There's only one update process. So I think just from the point of view of a new user, a new computer user, right out of the box it's different. Plus, even the presentation in the box, I think, is just a lot nicer, and that may seem really small or insignificant, but it's fun to open up a Mac. There's not a lot of clutter in there. You don't have to wade through 29 little different pieces of paper with different warranties and things. It's all just right there. So that's sort of the new user perspective. And I think that's where some of the magic is, sort of the ease of getting started, the initial reaction. And one other funny story about that too, there's been this whole one button, two button debate for a long time, and I don't want to get into that, but this same woman that I helped earlier in the year, one of her first questions was, well, there's two buttons here. Which one do I push? When do I know when to use which one? And you get that a lot with new computer users. So I've always been very critical of the one button, but I have to remember I'm more of a power user. And so even that, I think, when there's only one button, the user doesn't have to ask, which button do I push? There's only one button. And most of the people I work with are happy with just ever using one button. So the other perspective that I wanted to give on this was from my perspective more as a power user, a long-time computer user, an enthusiast. I've come from a long background of building my own computers. I've been using computers for a long time, all the way back from the Commodore up through DOS, Windows 3.1 into 95, 98, 2000 XP, the whole kit and caboodle along the way. And I started building computers for myself in 1998 and did that for a long time, all the way through actually 2007, with an eye toward I would be getting a Mac in the near future when I thought the time was right, which finally happened the beginning of 2008, and I now have a Mac Pro, which I really like. And I think a lot of the things that I like about that, yes, the case is nice. Opening up the case is elegant. You don't have the wires everywhere. It's very easy to put drives or cards in or out, but you don't do that very often. For the most part, it's a box. It's all in the box. You don't open it very often. So, okay, hardware, and I don't really look at the computer. It's over here. I look at my monitors. Now, I know that's not true if you have an iMac or a laptop. But for me, it's not so much the hardware design, because that, like I said, you deal with that sort of once or occasionally. For me, it's more about the system. Using the system, all of the really nice things, expose and spaces. I can throw anything at this computer and it just churns right through it, no problem. Multiple VMware sessions going, and nothing ever stutters. So I guess it's sort of the very high end of everything just sort of works, everything runs together. Just a very fun computer to use, but yet powerful. It doesn't feel like a baby computer. It's powerful, it's easy at the same time. On the other hand, it's all the little things, like I was saying, with a lot of the nice little features, the expose and the dashboard and the spaces. These are all very handy things, and I love some of the things you can do with the Command Tab, like using Q while you're tabbing over to just start closing things down. It is a really fast way to get things closed down. Things like that, okay, there's Alt-Tab on Windows, but as far as I know, you can't just start quitting things from there, at least not as of XP or Vista. Maybe I'm wrong. It's all those sorts of things like that. I love the terminal, the fact that it's Unix underneath. I've worked fairly extensively on Linux-based servers, and so once you're at the command line, there's not that much difference in terms of using it. So the experience for me as a power user is the simple but powerful, and a lot of the little things that really make it easier to be productive and get things done. I can't say how much I use expose. That is just a tremendous feature for me to be able to quickly find things, because I frequently will have windows just all over the place. I might be running 20 applications, and who knows how many windows there are. I have a 3 monitors set up with 3 vertical spaces, so it's kind of like 9 logical areas. I can get a bird's eye view of all of that very easily, and so I think the experience for me is the simple but powerful, easy to get in, easy to work, and it's interesting that I think that sort of applies both to me as the power user and to the new user. So anyway, I think I've rambled on long enough, but that's sort of, to me, the magic of the Mac. So thanks for watching.